Hi everybody, and welcome along to the official, which I think some people are now calling it, the Joomla Community Google Hangout. This is the second Hangout, and obviously because of Joomla 3.3.0 launching yesterday, we are going to dedicate the whole Hangout especially to Joomla 3.3.0, which is an exciting occasion for everyone. On this month's Hangout is I'm going to be handing over the reins to Max Lynham and Patrick Jackson, who are joining us from Australia, I believe. So over to you guys.
So good to see you, everybody. We've got 5 key features that are in the Joomla 3.3 release. One of the main things is security. Another thing, we've got microdata. We've got cloud API integration in the core. We've got Moo tools being replaced by jQuery. And we also have the first implementation of a new router for Joomla that's been in Joomla 3.3, and we've got more stuff going forward into the coming releases as well. This is the start of the first of the new Joomla 3.3 landing page, and it covers off some of the features that we've got there. There's an increase to the minimum PHP version to 5.3.10. This allows us to enhance quite a few things in security and allows bcrypt password hashing and an improved remember for the 5.3 or 3.3 release. We have microdata implemented in the core as well, which improves our SEO. This has been one of the top features that's been planned, and this is just the first implementation of that into the Joomla core, as is our first implementation of JRouter. Now the JRouter is pretty exciting as well. It has a 10% increase in website load speed and a reduction of 2.5 seconds in the load time for the rendering of pages. So that's going to be a big bonus for everybody, SEO and everything wise. We have the replacement of Moo tools with jQuery. So that's going to be twofold. It does give us minor speed increases, so that's a good thing again. And also it's going to make development and conflicts and so forth a lot easier to handle going forwards, because we won't have 2 JavaScript libraries getting loaded at the same time. And we've also seen the first implementation of cloud storage APIs into the core, and that allows, that's just the first implementation of that, which is going to allow us to do development and stuff going forward, and allow a lot of extensions to use a core feature set for the APIs. Now, for a little bit more detailed information on the APIs, we've got a video from Ruth Cheesley, and she's been really involved with microdata right from the start.
Hello, my name's Ruth Cheesley, and I'm going to be talking through a little bit about the latest developments in Joomla 3.3 with regards to microdata. I work for a company called Viria Group, and I do quite a lot of stuff with microdata, so it's definitely an area of interest for me. So microdata is a way that you can add contextual information onto your website resources, and it explains the information that's being shown on the website in the relationships that it has with other information on your site, but also in other places. And this is really key for search engines to actually understand the relationship between resources on the web, who wrote those resources, how popular they are, and what the information that you're displaying actually means. So understanding a context for the information that you're showing online. And the implementation of microdata in Joomla 3 is just for the content articles at the moment, and this lets us tell search engines information about the content we have in our article pages. So it gives us useful information like the language of the page, the title and the author, the genre, the date it was published, the number of hits, and it gives the actual content to the website as well. So let's take a look at this article. I've got a Joomla 3.3 beta site set up here, and I'm just looking at a regular article. So let's go to Australian parks, for example. Now I use a plugin that tells me the microdata that's in use on a site, and it's called Microdata Reveal. That's just a Chrome extension, and that shows me all of the microdata that's visible on that site. But there is also a way that you can find that information out from Google. So Google has a structured data testing tool, and you can get to that just by going to google.com/webmasters/tools/rich-snippets, and that allows you to test both a URL, so you could just put in the URL of a live website, and it lets you test a block of HTML. So if you're working locally, you can copy and paste in your code and see if there's any microdata. So for this page, it doesn't look like there's anything exciting happening, but when we actually look at the code behind this page, I'll just copy this block. So this is the content block. When I drop that into the structured data testing tool, it tells me that there's lots of information that's hidden in the code that we can't see, that's explaining the information that's visible on the site. So it's telling us that it's in ENGB, it's telling us the name of this article is Australian Parks, it's giving us the URL and information about the author, it's telling us the genre and the date, the number of people who visited the page, and then the article body. So it's giving contextual information to the words that appear on the page. And then, as you might notice at the bottom here, it's actually explaining the information about the author as a person. So the way that the markup works for microdata that we're using in Joomla is that it has definite ways of describing different types of things, so an article, a person, a place, an event, so forth. And so if you're talking about a person, you might want to know name, date of birth, an avatar, and so forth. But with an article, you'd be more interested in date published, interaction, and so forth. And you can see all of the schemas at schema.org. So if you'd like to explore a bit about what is available, you can visit schema.org, and there's all kinds of things that you can explore here. So if we look at article, for example, we're explaining these things. So we'll just have a quick look at how this is being done in the code. Normally you would see these div classes, but what you'll notice here is that we've got item scope and item type defined, and we are saying that the information we're about to pass is an article. And then we're giving the property of the language and saying that it's English GB. So that's giving, this metaprop is hidden. So it's not actually being shown on the site, so I can't see anything here that's telling me that it's ENGB, but it's telling that information to a search engine. We then have some nested information that's using the existing tags, so h2 item prop name, and that's giving us information about the name of the article, and this item prop is giving information about the URL. So it's all being put within the existing markup of Joomla. And the result of this is that you actually give search engines a lot more information, and they can use that information to then put that into search results. So often you will find, if you search for something, if I search for my name, extra information in the results. So here you can see my picture, and you can see my Google Plus profile link, and it tells you how many people have me in circles. And there's all kinds of other things that you can include. So one of the ones that I talk about often is pink handbags. And you can see information being put here about the stars and the ratings, and extra links to specific areas relevant to that. All of this comes through Microdata, so it's a really great thing to start including within Joomla. The implementation at the moment is really basic, but I'd encourage you to have a look and see what you can do with it and find out more.
Okay, we've also got a video about mood tools.
Joomla Move Tools to jQuery project is carried out under the Google Summer of Code program in year 2013, and it is mentored by Jensen Tony and Roberto Segura. As you can see by the project title, it's mainly about JavaScript modifications in Joomla. If you look closely to the above image, right now Joomla has more than 10% of its code written using JavaScript. And before this project, majority of this JavaScript code is written using Move Tools JavaScript library. In addition, there are very few libraries written using jQuery and native JavaScript code. So, as you have seen in the previous slide, Joomla and Move Tools has a strong relation. This was started with Joomla version 1.6, where it introduced Move Tools to its code base. Since then, most of these libraries and inline code is written using Move Tools as a base foundation. So you might be wondering, why do we need to remove Move Tools? And I think it's quite obvious, since you all know jQuery became popular among web developers with its clear syntax and various plugin support. And in the case of Joomla, it started using jQuery as a core library from Joomla version 3.0 when it decided to use Twitter Bootstrap framework, which itself depends on jQuery. Although this introduced lot of benefits to the Joomla CMS, jQuery caused conflicts with Joomla Move Tools functionality, adding more challenges for developers when writing JavaScript code. So it became a problem to keep Move Tools and jQuery side by side, which ultimately led to the decision to minimize Move Tools dependencies from its core code base. I hope you all got the background information about the project. So let's find out what this project really is. So this project mainly focuses on minimizing Move Tools dependencies from its code base and replace them with jQuery and native JavaScript code. If you are end user of Joomla, you might not find any new features out of this project, but since it's more or less transparent to the end user. So under this project, initially the Move Tools dependent JavaScript code is identified and classified based on its dependencies. Then Move Tools dependent libraries and inline JavaScript code were written using jQuery and native JavaScript to keep the functionality intact. This had to be done keeping the backward compatibility also taken into consideration to support for extensions and for possible ongoing work, which was a major challenge. Out of this core project scope, most of these libraries were rewritten improving its code quality and fixing performance bottleneck. A very good example is the performance improvement in validation.js to support thousands of input validations without freezing the user interface with jQuery and improved caching and writing fast queries. If I put more insight to the project, identification of Move Tools usage was really a challenge since it used prototype inheritance with a document object model for most of its functionality. For example, when I first see document.id method, I was really confused whether it's a native method or not. And above all, it is the class constructor of modules that makes it really difficult to remove modules dependencies, which acted as the foundation for most of the libraries written using modules. Another challenge was the usage of modules extensions like modules more that added number of new libraries that needed to be rewritten. So with this project, although it's transparent to the end user, developers gets benefits when writing JavaScript code. It minimizes the conflicts when using $variable, which is used in both modules and jQuery. And now most of these JavaScript code is uniform and have less dependencies, so which ultimately benefits the developers. And above all, now you have a reason to use jQuery as web developers for extension development, since it upcoming releases, possibly modules will be completely removed from Joomla core. So thank you for listening to this video, and if you need more information about this project and related stuff, you can find me in LinkedIn using the above link. Thank you.
What we can do, I'm back now, so we can run through the Q&A session if you want now. 3.2 is still being maintained, and 2.5. I think also there seems to be some sort of maybe just slight confusion in the Joomla community about what the 3.3.0 release actually does. So does it replace 3.2? Does it replace 2.5? Is it a new release? If you could just maybe answer that question.
The way that the new release cycles are working is that within the 3 series, the only version that's only going to be supported is the most recently released version. And so any security fixes and updates and stuff that come through are going to be only for that recent version. The 3.2 to 3.3 changeover, because of the change in the PHP version that's required, if there is a security issue between now and October, they will be, or Joomla developers will release a security update for 3.2 in that changeover period before October. So there's not a vital step to change your PHP version and do the upgrade until then. But after that point in time, what will probably be October, it'll be definitely 3.4, maybe 3.5 by October. If you haven't upgraded your PHP by that point in time so that you can upgrade your Joomla versions, and a security problem, then you're sort of left on your own a little bit there. And of course 2.5 is still supported until the end of this year. So they're still releasing security updates for 2.5 till the end of the year, but really what they're saying now is if you haven't already upgraded, then with the new PHP version that's there and the new code and the new router and everything that are in there, you really should be looking at moving out of 2.5 and upgrading to 3.3 or 3.4 going forwards.
Okay, so thanks very much. So we've also got another question. I think this is quite a good question actually. Is there going to be a proper guide on how to use the microdata? There seems to be a lot of talk about it, but very little real-world detail about using it. If I can open that up to you guys as well.
Well, at the moment, there's... Oh, we can't type here, can we?
So docs.joomla.org.
Yeah.
/microdata.
Yeah, no, I've had it up as well. So.
Yeah. So docs.joomla.org/microdata has the initial documentation there. It's still showing as incomplete. We're going to do some reviewing on that. But again, it shows you just.
Yeah, there's mainly developer code that's on there. Yeah. There is Yeah, how to implement rich snippet data for breadcrumbs is there, which is something that goes off to the other things still. I've talked to both Ruth and Alex, who have been heavily involved in sort of the implementation and the development. Alex is the main developer. At the moment, when you upgrade to 3.3, at the moment, what you're going to find is a new, I'm just seeing if I've got a window open here. No. What you'll see in the back end under your documents, under the options tabs, you'll find that there's a field there under the options tabs to set what sort of article an article is. I think that's about the extent
It's
of
the default implementation.
Yeah,
yep,
at this point in
and
time.
that's in the core templates.
Yeah.
So you'll have to go and copy that code into your template overrides at this stage to get that to work.
Yeah.
And that's where we're hoping that there'll be plugins by 3.4.
So and so as long as the template developers have put those little snippets of code into their content override, then it'll come up and it will display microdata properly in your website.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully that's answered that question with regards to microdata. A lot of people are actually talking about the microdata. That seems to be the one that sort of captured everyone's imagination, really. We've got the URL being posted on the video now. This is from Hill's Chain. Thank you. It's docs.joomla.org/microdata, which obviously can give you some more information about it as well. And we have a question from Dwai Rianto. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. This is a significant stage of the modern Joomla ever. Microdata feature is a star. So I think hopefully you guys can agree that microdata is it's an exciting part of the new release, isn't it? Really.
It's probably the lead thing because it is the one that people can customize their own content to do things with the microdata. But it's a case of we've really just got to get some more information into the documentation, so then people can go away and feel more comfortable with having more examples about how to implement it for ratings or reviews. I mean, there's several sites that I do that have got it needs to identify the data as people and then give more information on the people. So community sites, for example, if the microdata gets implemented there, then that adds more detail to how people can be identified on your site, things like that.
Yeah.
So it certainly is a bit of a game changer in regards to SEO, and we should be able to get that going rather well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that's probably it for today's hangout. Unless you guys have got anything else you want to.
The only thing I'd suggest is if people are watching and want to get more involved, on the 3.3 announcement there's a whole section on how to get involved with the process of improving Joomla. There's the development group through to the marketing group. We're working on improving that for future releases.
Including documentation before a release.
And there's documentation. Team needs certainly a lot of support. So it may be that you might not have a programming bone in the body, but you can write good documentation, or you've got ideas for marketing. So if you just go to the announcement page, you'll see how you can get involved with that. And there's a lot of documentation now appearing on the Joomla Docs site on how to get involved and how you can help.
And that was all just redone earlier in the year, so that most of the information has been updated, and
that's how
obviously there's more stuff coming through. So. Yeah. And there are, I think, at least 4, 5, or 6 blog posts that are on the Joomla.org front page website, or linked from that front page. They're all about Joomla 3.3, and so there's links on those articles to go through. And like Patrick said, there'll be more stuff going out via Joomla magazine. There's a landing page that's just about to go live that's got extra information. And we'll get these videos up as soon as possible as well.
Sure.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks very much. And we've just had one last question. It's coming from my favourite Joomla
Hi, Pete.
podcast. You guy with the glasses.
Yeah,
That's good.
well, that's Max, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. He had to drop in and say something bad, eh?
We'll get him to do one of these soon again.
Yeah.
Okay, so presumably then, so just to get this wrapped up, obviously all of the videos are going to be posted online. I'll be sharing them on Twitter. You guys are going to be sharing them on Twitter. They're going to come through, obviously, the official Joomla channels as well. And all I can say is thanks very much, Patrick and Max, for essentially leading this the second Joomla Hangout. We're going to be running, obviously, Joomla Hangout number 3 next month. So if you want to get involved with that, please get in contact with myself. And then we can take it forward. I want to ideally concentrate on some new things with regards to Joomla and probably the post 3.3 and how people's what they make of it next month. And so thanks very much, guys.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
And I'll speak to you. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.